Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, everybody. My name is Octavian, and it's good to have you all along once again. It's been a while, a few weeks, I think. 1 to 2 weeks, somewhere in that range. Took a bit of a break from this series at the end of last league, but now that Bestiary is starting up once again, and Abyss is over and done with, I think it's high time that we start up the price check series once more. I wanted to start it a day or two ago, but I've been pushing for my own personal best on a Shaper kill towards the start of the league, trying to get the fastest Shaper kill I've gotten, and I actually managed to achieve that today, so very happy with myself in terms of that. But that aside, for those of you new to the series, this is a series in which I will be getting a inventory, or a stash tab rather, worth of unidentified rare gear, price checking it, and giving my reasoning behind my decisions as I go, so that you all can potentially learn a thing or two, particularly about price checking early on in a league. So here's the stash tab, here's some wisdom scrolls, let's combine them and hope something cool happens. Alright, let's get started here. I've got a large smattering of different bases and items here, various different eye levels. I quickly pushed my way up through the tiers of maps, so there's some items here that are eye level 80 plus, some that are still in the late 60s or even early 70s, and so there's going to be a large variety of decent to horrible bases, and hopefully we find some good rolls in some of the more decent ones. Let me just make sure I've got my scenes set up. I do indeed, and let's get started. Pricing this early in a league is going to be a lot more lenient than later on. Some things will sell purely by dint of the base. This sash is not going to be one of them, though it is eye level 82, but there are Shaper and Elder bases in the game now, so regular bases have taken a bit of a hit because of that. You can't really sell them as easily. As well as that, there are Stygian vises in the game now, and while they are less common than they were in Abyss, they're still there. And so items like this have fallen somewhat by the wayside. We've got crit multi and melee fizz while holding a shield. Good enough to try to list. I don't think it's really good enough for a regal, though I have a good number of regals and I'm not really doing anything with them, so I might throw one at it. But maybe if it were double crit multi, maybe if it were crit multi attack speed, maybe if it were crit multi life. I think I'm just going to put this up for a chaos or two and see whether or not it sells. Got 81 life, some mana, great for mind over matter, and a lot of strength. Could fill out some stat requirements. If I weren't going Isla Dex on my build, this would actually be pretty good for me. If I hit Alt here, you'll see it's got an open suffix and an open prefix as well. So it's really open and clean for whatever crafting needs be done. I may just craft a resistance on this though, so it shows up in more searches. That's definitely worth something. Eye level 84 amulet base, I don't think that's going to just sell by itself. Over eye level 81 on a hypnotic jewel though. Let's switch over to the browser scene and give that a look. I've actually made quite a bit of money selling abyssal jewels above a good eye level. I'm just going to put in 80 as the floor, and we'll see how much that might be. Not too many results, and they're starting at 1 or 2C. If I bump it up to 81, is that potentially a break point for it to be worth something? No, looks like it's 2 or 3C. Still worth listing, though, so. Even just as a blue item. Didn't really look at the rolls too much. Yeah, fire and cold resistance. I guess I could aug that, maybe hit life. Could be worth something more. 15 movement speed isn't enough to be worth crafting life onto. C-Jax rolled pretty poorly. There's no percent fizz rolls, no flat fizz rolls, no attack speed, no crit rolls, nothing you're really looking for. It does have 3 Ellie rolls, which is interesting, but not really the base for that. You're looking for that more in a jeweled foil, potentially. 26 life, no resistances. This has nothing but a good mana roll and maybe an all-res roll. This has just nothing worth mentioning. That's only eye level 74, so I don't think that'll sell based off the base. 21 life, 2 res rolls, maybe on like literally day 1 I could have sold this. 83 is not quite high enough level to be used for enchanting in lab either, and hubris circlets aren't super popular right now. Starcontious heads, maybe Royal Burgeones, Devoto's Devotion. That's what people are looking to buy. Good chaos res roll, which is actually relevant on an ES base. 22% lightning damage, I believe that's a perfect lightning damage roll for rings. Yes it is. And 69 life, not super synergetic with where the rest of that ring was going. Even the int, like this looked like maybe some sort of CI Whispering Ice build would want this. You know, it's got 47 total ES, it's got an int roll, it's got lightning damage. No, that would mean maybe Howa. But it's a little weird. And Chaos Res can be nice for low life. This is This is a ring that doesn't really have an identity. It's got a collection of okay rolls, though, so I'll still put it up for a few chaos. You've got attack speed, area damage, and block chance while dual wielding. That third mod is not amazing. I think this is just vendor food, which would make this vendor food as well. Yeah, I think I'll just sell those both. I'll revise my opinion on this jewel. 31 ES, 2 stat rolls. No room for a res, though. So I think that's garbage. 13 life, not very good. 50 life, also not amazing. If those res rolls were decent, I would list this, but since they're not, I won't. Eye Level 80, so that's 2 or 3C. Searching Eye Jewels, on the other hand, are worth a good bit more because the kind of build that's really going to rely on its Abyssal Jewels, or one of the kind of builds that will, is a Wind Ripper build. And Wind Ripper builds are quite popular right now. So if we put in Eye Level 80 Searching Eye Jewel, should get a higher price returned. No, not really. It's still 3-4 chaos at best. Alright. Perhaps the price on Abyssal Jewels has just come down altogether. Last time I sold one was early yesterday. And prices drop really quick early in a league. 23 attack speed, 36 multi are good rolls, but the flat fizz is tier 5 and there's no percent fizz to be had. So that's just vendor food, plus 3 life. Goodbye. I like the accuracy roll. I don't like the base with an accuracy roll, though. This base lends itself to Mind Over Matter. There are some Mind Over Matter attack builds, but not too many. Generally, it's spellcasters. I think this is just going to be trash. Got some cold damage, some flat ES, some crit chance. Nothing too amazing. Nothing good on that ring either. 37 life is low, no res. That's a horrible base with horrible rolls. 80 life, 55 mana, good for Mind Over Matter. We'll just put this up for 1C. I think it's got room for res. It does. So you could craft a res on that. If you need a little bit of cold res, you just want a lot of life, good amount of mana, and you need dex. I could see someone purchasing that. And the rest of this is just vendor trash. Alright, so
Good luck with your map.
we'll throw that Zana's way, and we'll get these listed. I'm just going to aug this. Damage over time while dual wielding. I think that's still just worth the price of the base, so we'll put all these up for 3. This one... Screw it, we'll start it at 3 as well. This one's just a 1C item. And that as well, I think, is maybe a 1 or 2C item. How much is that going to cost me to put res on? I can put on a tiny bit of res for some augs, which basically isn't money. Alex isn't a lot either. Actually, I'm going to put all res on this for a regal. I have a good number of regals. I don't really have anything else I'm doing with them right now. So all res for a regal seems good. And we can put that up for 3C, which would be a good bit of profit if it were to sell. Okay. Rest of the tab. You got a Stygian Visor too in there. That's rather nice. Not seen too many Abysses, but the ones I have disproportionately given me a large number of depths. Been a little bit lucky on that. Alright. What else do you have in store for me? Well, that's not a great start. 23 life. Actually, you are looking for high percent evasion or high percent armor rolls on shields, especially if it's a good base. I don't think Crusader Buckler is a good base, though. Though it's got a really good implicit. 9% movement speed can be nice, but mainly because of Spectral Shield Throw. It's very popular because it's a new skill, and it scales off of the evasion or armor or energy shield even being used, of the shield being used. So you can sort of look at your shield as potentially a weapon and also a defensive item, which makes it very powerful. Got life, but no real res to speak of, no movement speed. 20 movement speed, bad life though, bad res. Unfortunate. If we could somehow meld those. Not going to be sold on dint of the armor, not going to be sold by the rolls. There's a mosquito in the room. Sorry about that. That's pretty good. I could corrupt this. I think it'll sell without needing to be corrupted, but maybe not for that much. And if I corrupt it and hit +1 endurance charge, it could be really good. There's a lot of Tectonic Strike Jugs out there right now with some all caps lettering that would absolutely love to have a +1 endurance charge belt, I'm sure. Fire damage, crit chance, evasion rating, no. No attack speed, nothing like that. I don't think well, maybe a 79 Stygian Vice sells. Probably not, though. I checked that earlier for 76 or 78 Stygian Vice, and it wasn't worth anything. The rest of these have not had very good rolls for the most part. No life, poor resistances, no movement speed on those boots, and overall just kind of junk. As the episode goes on, I'm going to spend less and less time on each individual piece of gear, so I'm not repeating myself too much. Didn't get Pleasant Endurance Charge, but we also didn't break it, so I still think this is worth maybe 3 or 4 Chaos. We're going to start it at 4. Nope, that's not where I wanted to go. And we're going to check the value just as 79 Stygian Vise, but I think these are kind of worthless. What have we got? Well, it's 1C for the base. I'll go ahead and throw that up. I'll just vendor them in a few hours if they don't sell, most likely. So my usual pattern of listing things and dropping them by 1C every day or so is accelerated early on in the league in order to get the most currency into my tab as quickly as possible, because alts and alks and even augs and that sort of thing, the results of vendoring items are much more important early on. So anything that isn't selling quickly, I do actually want to turn into little bits and pieces in order to use those to continue to better my character and get through the Atlas. As well as that, I just want to be listing more things because I can be more lenient with my listings and what exactly is worth selling, because there's just fewer items in the economy competing with each other. That, however, is just garbage, as is that. 40 life is pretty bad. No life, also pretty bad. 18 life, well, you're seeing a pattern here. Not one that I like, though. That's a solid ring. It's got room for a res. Yep, it's got room for a res, got room for a prefix, if they wanted to craft flat damage onto it. It's actually got enough of a res total that I think I'll leave it without a craft and leave it clean. There's not that many people with high enough level masters to scour a craft right now, so I'll leave that one uncrafted. The other one that I crafted the all res onto didn't have any res, and so I want that coming up in searches that specify resistances. This one already will, so there's no reason to craft something onto it, because that might actually make it worse in this case. 47 int is pretty good. That helps with stat requirements a lot for a build that might actually need it on an evasion rating helmet. I'm actually surprised that it didn't roll. I thought an int roll only would roll on something with an ES component, so either hybrid or pure ES, but I suppose I was incorrect. 74 life is okay for a helmet. It's okay. Yeah. And it can not have a crafted res, actually. That makes it significantly worse, but I'll still list it for like a chaos. 17 life is pretty low. Unfortunate, because those res rolls are really good. It's an I-85 Imperial Buckler. I don't remember the best evasion shield bases. I don't think anyone going Spectral Shield through is going evasion shields, though. So, what's the implicit? It's a movement speed implicit, so yeah, I don't think that makes it one of the better bases. And that is an I-84 jeweled foil. That might be worth something. Often people actually look for I-81 jeweled foils, or 83 jeweled foils specifically, because you don't want resistance rolls, and I-84 is a breakpoint for certain resistance rolls, so if you have it slightly lower, you actually exclude all of those while including everything that you want. But it does look like the base might be worth a chaos to somebody willing to buy, and this is worth augmenting, so.
Stay inquisitive.
Not a bad haul, I would say. We had a few items in there that were of decent value. This is probably the most valuable item that we found. It's very clean, got a good life roll, got a really nice explicit resistance. No damage or anything, but I think I can still start it at 10C. Just because of how craftable it is. It could be a really nice problem solver for someone. Totem damage, area damage, that gets a regal. Attack speed with axes, solid. Sure, that's probably 10C as well. Well, that's another good find. And we'll just start these both at 1. Alright, well, that's going to be all for today's episode. I will be releasing these daily for at least the first few weeks of the league, so if this intrigued you and you're new here, then why not hit that subscription button? You'll be able to catch the episodes as they come out. You can also follow me on Twitch. There's a link in the description below. I stream every day for 8 hours minimum. Recently I've been doing 12 or 15 hours though for the league start, and I'm probably going to be doing a lot of boss killing. I'm playing a Blight Trickster, and I've been taking on Shaper whenever I get the opportunity. I've only killed him 3 times, and I've actually had some pretty decent luck already, so hopefully that continues. Anyways, I'll see you all in the next one. I hope you enjoyed. Till then, have a good one.